because on to the same thing, multiplying polynomials. Okay, we are going to look at a special cases here, and it is a binomial times a binomial. Yeah, it's still under multiplying polynomials. This is something I remember vividly from my algebra days in class. Remembering again, I got a C in algebra 1, just so you know. Okay. There is hope. Mrs. Klebish, where are you now?
She's probably dead.
She was pretty young.
Sorry.
She was a pretty young teacher. I don't think she'd be quite dead. She might have been 30. She's probably like 60 or something like that. Not even that, probably 50 something. Okay.
We should call her.
When you have a binomial times a binomial, and as long as they have the same first starting letter here, okay, there's a little thing in math that's called FOIL. Write this down. When you see a binomial that looks like this, okay, you should get to the point where you can tell me the answer just by looking at it. For example, I'll tell you the answer to that is x squared minus 2x minus 48. That's going to be the answer to it. Okay? Because what it boils down to is this. Okay? What it boils down to is this. Okay? When you get your answer, which is going to be a trinomial in this case, okay, the first term of your trinomial is going to be what you get when you multiply the two first terms together. In other words, this x times x, x squared, is going to be my first term in my answer. Okay? In the same way that the two last terms together, when I multiply the 6 times the negative 8, that is going to be my last term in my answer. Okay, always. Always. Whatever this multiplied together is going to be my last term, whatever that two first terms multiplied will be the first term. Now, what the complicated part is what you get for your middle term. Okay, and the middle term comes from when you add together the outside terms and put that together with the inside terms. Because it'll look like this. As long as it's a binomial in this form where they have the same first starting letters, when you multiply the two outside terms together, what is negative 8 times x? Negative 8x. When you multiply the two inside terms together, you get a positive 6x. They will always be terms that you can put together. A negative 8x and a positive 6x gives you a negative 2x. And that is the trinomial that you're going to get for your answer. It is called FOIL. And it only works with a binomial times a binomial. You can't do this with trinomials. It's just kind of something that apparently math people feel they have to do because of whatever reason. Let me give you a couple examples here. Let's say I have x minus 3 times x minus 4. And let's try a harder one. 2x plus 2 times x minus 7. Okay, if you're thinking in terms of FOIL, okay, if you're thinking in terms of FOIL, right away you can tell me what the beginning term is and what the ending term is. The first term comes from what you get when you multiply the two first terms together, which is what? X squared, thank you. Your last term gets when you multiply the two ending numbers together, the two last terms. What is a negative 4 and a negative 3? Positive 12. Your middle term is the combination of the outsides and the inside. This is the tough part there. So you think about what this times this is, which is a negative 4x. This times this is a negative 3x. So when you have a negative 4 and an x and a negative 3x, you end up with, somebody? Negative 7x. This is your trinomial that you get for an answer. Again, only works with binomials times binomials. And this one here gets a lot tougher because you've got an extra 2 out here that you have to think about. So I don't recommend trying to do them in your head. This one you should be able to do kind of in your head, and you will later on as we do more and more of these. How about this one? If you do FOIL on this one, your first term is 2x squared. Your last term is minus 14. And your middle term is going to be what you get when you combine this times this, which is a negative 14x, with this, which is a positive 2x. Negative 14 and a positive 2 is negative 12x. This is the part where maybe you ooh and or ah. X minus 5 times x minus 7. Anybody tell me the answer to that without even writing anything on their paper?
How can you subtract x? Oh, it's
Steph says it's,
x squared negative 2x plus 35.
you're close, it's x squared minus 12x.
Oh,
X squared because of these two, positive 35 because this times this is a positive 35. Your middle term comes from a negative 5x and a negative 7x. Negative 5 and a negative 7 is a negative 12x.
I was thinking 5 was positive, so I got negative 2.
How about this one? X plus 8 times x minus 10. You're doing that one in your head. It's a pretty simple one. Knopf, take a shot at it.
X
X.
squared 2 I can't do it.
X squared I agree with. The last term is going to be what? Negative 80. Negative 10 times positive 8. And the middle term is going to be plus 8x minus 10x. Negative 2x. Let's look at it. Break it down. First term in FOIL is x squared. Okay, if you want to do the outsides and the inners next because that's the way it comes up. Outside term is negative 10x. Inside term is positive 8x. That gives you a negative 2x. And the last term is negative 10 times 8, which is negative 80. And you can always